Well, Tony McEvoy, obviously yourself and your family have such strong ties to Streaky Bay and the racing community in Streaky Bay. Take us back to where it all began.
Yeah, look, I'm very proud to be from Streaky, Grace, and they've got their big meeting coming up next week, of course, and which I'd love to be at, but sadly I've got to be up in Sydney with the Golden Slipper favourite, so it took priority. But yeah, it goes back a long way, Grace. I mean, I can show you, where it all began right here. This is us at the farm at Streaky Bay. Here you've got Jeffrey. He's one of my brothers riding there. Well, Jeff's a farmer, and you can clearly see why he's a farmer. Like, shocking seat in the saddle. You can just clearly see that there. Peter, far too big on that horse, and a bit of a rough rider. Wants to come out and get him bucking all the time, and he's now a shearer, farmer, and everything else but a rider, and that's clear to see. And then, Grace, you can see me here, like a natural in the horse. Like, you can just see the seat on the saddle, the confidence of me. Here's Bill, my little brother Bill, completely shitting himself. Like, he's a farmer, and you can see why. Chas, accomplished horseman, you can see where I got it from. And now here's Philip. Now, Philip, who's a great sire, he's the sire of Karen. But look where his feet are forward on that horse. Like, he had a real nervous problem that I can see there. So you can clearly see that I was the standout of the family when it come to riding, Grace, and unfortunately got a bit fat. But I can show you, before I did get fat, I rode a few winners over on the West Coast. This is my first winner at Port Lincoln, Quantrell, and just before, this is my first professional winner. But just before that, Grace, I can show you here, we have Palubi Beach at Streaky. And I rode 4 winners at Palubi this day, and this was the first of them. And there's a few people in the crowd here that's, obviously backed this horse and were wolf whistling and carrying on. Look what they did. They frightened the hell out of it when I was on the way back. I think it was either Jeff Mont here or Tracy McEvoy here. Like, she obviously had a bet. She'd have been wolf whistling and carrying on. And there's the cup winner there. Billy Holland running second here on the family's horse. I didn't get fed that night. I won on it on an outsider. Just fantastic start in racing. And I'm very proud of these photos. And here's another one here. My last winner in 1981. I had to make a comeback to ride this. I think I claimed about 4 kilos over on this horse that day, but that was Chas's horse, and there's Billy Holland, the trainer. This is all famous Streaky Bay people, so it's great background and a great start to racing.
But Tony, this is obviously some great memories here. How come we can't see any pictures of you riding a winner at Streaky Bay?
Yeah, well, it's a sore point and a good point you make, Grace. My brother Philip, he was a bit of a bloody bully, and clearly he knew that I had a bit more talent than him, but he made me ride all the slow ones at Streaky Bay. He was sort of the big #1 jockey in South Australia at the time, so I just never got a look in at Streaky Bay at my hometown. It would have been great to ride a winner there, but my brother, he was a bully.
Basically, we're given no chance at any stage.
With no chance to ride a winner on my home track, which was very unfortunate and cuts me deep to this day, Grace.
Well, Tony, you mentioned the reason, of course, that you can't be there on Friday is because you need to be in Sydney on Saturday. Tell us about how Sunlight is progressing and what she means to you at this point in time.
Yeah, look, she means a lot, Grace. She's a very smart filly, and she won the Magic Millions for us up at the Gold Coast, which was amazing, and she won the Silver Slipper 6 weeks between runs in Sydney. I'm looking forward to her running again this weekend, and I think she's a rightful favourite for the Golden Slipper. The horses that came out in the Riesling and the Todman on Saturday, I think that form looked pretty even, and there was no real standouts. And the other thing I take comfort about is they were running track records on firm ground, and my filly was home in her box, and I'm really looking forward to her this weekend. I expect her to win, and she'll be very hard to beat in the Slipper.
Any nerves ahead, looking ahead to the Slipper? Of course, you've got the favourite. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, it's excitement. I'm a bit too old to get nervous anymore, sadly, but I'm very excited about her, Grace. She's a high-class filly. and I think you know, whatever beats her will win the slipper. I really am looking forward to it.
Of course, being a good Streaky Bay boy, I'm sure the racing community there are so proud of everything you've achieved. What else is there to look forward, in your opinion, for your future?
Yeah, look, I've been building a really strong stable. We've been buying some tremendous young horses the last few years, and Kildalton Park's really going from strength to strength. I'm very proud of what my son Calvin's doing. He's coming through, and he's showing a lot of talent. He's one of the most promising young colts in my stable. I'm just hoping I don't have to geld him, Grace. The signs are there, he might need gelding, but I'm hoping that he stays on track, and all this work that I'm doing, he can take it over and build it from there. He did mention to me just the other day he had 2 runners for 2 winners in Adelaide, and I had 3 runners in Melbourne for no winners. And on his way home in the car, he rang me and he said, "I'm not sure I'm going to need you for much longer." And so he's doing a tremendous job, and I'm very proud of him. And yeah, we've got lots to look forward to. And unfortunately, Streaky Bay, with my favourite for the slipper this year, and the way I'm buying, I'm going to have runners in the slipper for a long time. I'd like Streaky Bay to consider, if they can't move their race meeting, I can talk to the ATC to see if they can move the slipper, so I could get back to the Streaky Bay races for a change. And I wish them all the best. There's a lot of work, all the volunteers that put all the stuff together. It's a great meeting, and it's the lifeblood of that community once a year. So I hope it all goes well. I wish them a lot of luck, and if anyone's looking for tips, try not and get them off Phil. If you can, get them off someone else.
And just lastly, Tony, of course you mentioned Calvin, the family ties back to Streaky Bay are so strong. What does it mean to you to continue that tradition through your son? Oh yeah, very much so. I mean, it's why we do it, isn't it? I mean, when I think back when I started, Bill Holland took me under his wing, and the help that Philip gave me, and of course my parents letting me leave home so young and start looking at my dreams, and Calvin's, these are his dreams. I haven't had to push him in any way, shape or form. So all the things that I've been been able to learn from those people that I mentioned, and Colin Hayes, what he did after that, I'll be passing that on to Calvin, and hopefully he can take it to another level, which I'm sure he can.